Good day, listeners. This is Ryan.
And this is Kyle.
And you're listening to
The Doctor's Watcher, the podcast where I watch every episode of Doctor Who and tell you about it.
Which, if it weren't that, it would be very confusing.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm not sure what the title of the podcast would be referring to then.
Right, I mean, we'd have to rethink the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So that'd be a huge hassle.
Obviously, we came up with the title The Doctor's Watcher first and then decided, oh, that seems like probably a Doctor Who recap podcast.
Right, because I don't want to, sit around, I don't know, watching surgeries or something. That seems like, A, it would ruin the appetite, and B, I don't know anything about surgery anyway.
There was that video game that we played. What was it? Life and Death.
Oh yeah, that was really fun, actually.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I don't remember why, but I was thinking about that recently.
Yeah, I remember doing the surgery in that game, and there was no way to know this until you looked it up or got one of those hint manuals. But you had to go through the skin, and then you had to go through the fat, and then you had to cut through the muscle in a certain way to give this person stomach surgery or whatever. And you always had to cauterize it off if there was a bleeder and shit like that.
Yeah. The main way I remember actually learning how to do that shit properly in that game was by going into the surgery and just doing some random shit and then getting called out and in trouble and called into the hospital's surgical school or whatever, and they're like, man, you really fucked that one up. Here's what you should have done.
Oh yeah. The game actually taught you, but there was no way to know
beforehand
before that. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I would imagine there's stuff like that out there now, but it's probably extra gross with the good graphics we have these days.
Yeah, probably.
Real disturbing.
Yeah.
That at least was, RGB pixel art style.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably EGA graphics, maybe VGA.
Yeah, good point.
Probably
even
EGA.
VGA, yeah. Yeah, because I don't remember there being I don't know, realistic flesh tones and stuff like that. It was kind of comic book style where it'd be white background with the smattering of pinkish pixels for the shading type bits. And
yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was 16 color or if it was more 64 color.
Yeah,
but I think it was probably one of those two options.
Right. Either way, that's not a lot of colors.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, that was a nice little trip down memory lane. I hadn't thought about that game in a very long time.
Should see if there's an emulator of it or something.
Yeah,
that might be
kind
of fun, actually.
Yeah, might be out there on GOG or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, have you been up to anything interesting since we last recorded?
Yeah, actually my partner and I started watching the second season of Poker Face. I don't know if you're familiar with that show.
No, I've never heard of it.
It's really cool, actually. It stars Natasha Lyonne, and she plays, basically sort of a swearing, smoking, down on her luck, on the run type of character who has this uncanny ability to just know whether or not someone is lying when they speak. And, she's kind of just traveling around and ends up getting kind of drawn into other people's shitty situations, basically. And sort of the whole, it's kind of a mystery show, basically. And the general structure of each episode is that for the first 10 or 15 minutes or so, we the viewers see a crime happen, like generally a murder. I think it's pretty much always a murder. And then like we kind of cut over to Natasha Lyonne's character, Charlie, and we kind of see, you know, we often might like skip back to like the day before the murder or whatever. And we kind of see how she, you know, sort of gets involved or becomes friends or whatever with one of the people involved in the situation, and how she kind of gets drawn into it. And then it's sort of like, you know, a murder mystery basically, as she like tries to work out what happened and stuff. But it's cool because like we already saw what happened. Like we generally know who murdered the person and often why. And then we get to see like how she figures it out. And
that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. It's really well written, you know, really interesting and complicated plots and heists and shit happen. It's also like really funny usually. And, you know, really well acted. One of the episodes that we watched a day or two ago, the main guest star was, what's his name? Giancarlo Esposito.
Okay, right.
So,
from Breaking Bad.
That was a lot of fun.
That guy's awesome. Nice.
Tim Russ from Star Trek Voyager was in one of the season 1 episodes.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We're only like, I think we've seen 3 episodes of season 2. And so we're pretty early in the season so far, but it's been probably even better than season 1, which was already really good.
Cool. Well, that sounds like it may be worth a check out. That sounds pretty entertaining.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
And like, yeah, it's cool because she's, you know, like she's not, you know, a professional detective or anything. Like she's not a cop. So it's not, you know, she's not like trying to get these people to go to jail or whatever. It's usually just like someone she met got involved in this situation and she's trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, that's nice too. It kind of takes off that disgusting propaganda edge that so many shows that are like that have. Nice.
What about you? Have you been up to anything interesting?
A little bit, yeah. I'm not watching too many shows. Been watching the new Rick and Morty's, and It's Always Sunny just came out with the first 2 episodes of the new season. So those have been fun. But I've kind of been like trying to focus more on like growth type stuff and like hobbies.
Nice.
So yeah, I decided my piano skills were sadly lacking. So I got an app or program thing that's helping me practice. And I've been doing that every day. Wanted to get 30 days in a row, but I kind of fucked it up by skipping one day because I wasn't feeling good. But that's okay. I'm like not holding that against myself.
Yeah, totally.
But, that's been really fun. Like it's nice because I'm still at that point where, because, you know, we did have piano lessons, like 35 years ago, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But but I never really like practiced or did much like actual trying to keep the skill up. Like I've composed stuff and I've kind of like badly played the keyboard and, you know, go back and like edit it afterwards to like fix the screw ups and stuff. But now I'm like really working on my timing, really working on, you know, chords and stuff. And like the app has some pretty fun songs too, like the Ghostbuster song. That's a good one.
Nice.
Like I'm trying to 100% everything because like I really want to learn it good. And, you know, usually that usually it's not too hard to 100% everything. Like each lesson, half an hour practice a day, I could usually 100% at least 1 or 2 lessons.
Right on.
But the Ghostbusters song, even though I'm like, according to the app, I'm like level 6 or 7 of skill, and that's like, I think level 5 considered, like that song is actually tough for me. So like I've only hit like 99% on that, and it pisses me off. But so I kind of put it down. I'm definitely going to go back to it. But there's been a few other ones, like the bass line to Feel Good by the Gorillaz. That was a fun one.
Oh, nice. That does sound fun.
Yeah. And then one that was surprisingly hard, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it was like Gymnopedy. It's like this really pretty kind of classical song.
Uh-huh.
It's, I think, sort of, more modern than like Bach or whatever, but it's a pretty song, but like it's very slow. And I had a real hard time with that. Like, 3/4, no big deal, but like a slow song in 3/4, like I suck about rushing. So that was a big, learning experience for me, getting that one right.
Yeah, totally.
And then, I don't know, just as I've been going through it, so I had a jam session for the first time with a friend of mine that I met through work. And he's really, really good at the guitar. And we were like jamming together, and I brought my synth over to his place, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm actually not embarrassing myself as much as I thought I would be.
Nice.
And, I could like follow along with chord changes, or like I even came up with some chord progressions of my own that sounded pretty good that he could like riff over.
Right on.
And I was impressed with myself. I hadn't really like super put the skills to the test in like a, I don't know, not really public, but like in a other people can hear it and jam with it type situation, and it worked out.
Nice.
So that was very fulfilling.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then like now, like I've already got a playlist of kind of piano or synth songs that I want to learn that I'm saving just to like screw around and learn them. And like one I really want to learn is Hold the Line by Toto.
Oh, fun.
Because like right at the beginning, that's got a pretty like fast but precise like piano line that's pretty good.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and actually it was pretty funny because like I pulled up their music video for it because I was, trying to pick out the chords, just kind of messing around. And like right at the beginning of the video, the piano part comes in and it's pretty fast, and like, the guy plays it perfectly. And then the camera like pans to him, and he's just kind of like leaning against, with his head in one hand, and like the other hand is like, going crazy on the piano, and he looks bored. It's like, damn it, man, you make this look so easy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one of the things I've been up to, main things.
Nice. Yeah, I've been, kind of dabbling on and off with the banjo for the past, I don't know, year or so, although I haven't touched it in a long time. But I kind of found that I was better at practicing regularly when I had like specific songs that I was learning and focusing on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if I didn't have a song that I was like, that I cared about, then it was a lot harder to keep up the regular practice.
Right. Like, I don't super enjoy practicing scales and stuff, even though I know it's very important.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that for like 15 minutes straight.
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, maybe 2 minutes, but
Right.
Even that, it's like, I could be playing something fun.
Right. Like 5 minutes is really pushing it. Like that's, stretching your patience, or mine at least.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, before we get into the episode, got a quick joke for the listeners. There was a meeting at a corporate business, and the big boss manager told a joke, and everyone laughed on the team except for one guy. And the manager was like, what's wrong? Didn't you get my joke? And the guy says, oh yeah, I got it, but I turned in my 2 weeks yesterday.
Nice. Well, shall we talk about episode 27 of season 4 of Doctor Who?
Indeed. Sounds good.
This is the first episode of a new serial, which is called The Macra Terror.
Oh, interesting. Like macro, but with an A?
Yeah. This serial was written by Ian Stewart Black, which is a name you might recognize because he wrote The Savages, also known as The Less Technological People.
Yep, I remember that one.
He also wrote The War Machines.
Oh, cool.
Back in season 3.
Nice.
Yeah, those are both pretty cool. So this one should, I think, also be pretty interesting, hopefully. It's actually his last Doctor Who serial. He also wrote the novelizations of all 3.
I mean, that just seems like cheating, but okay.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, we salute Ian Stewart Black for his last contribution to the series. The serial is directed by John Davies, and apparently this is the only Doctor Who serial that he directed.
Interesting.
This is a missing episode, but I learned something pretty cool, actually. There's apparently a YouTube channel called Doctor Who Classic Full Episodes. It's at Classic Doctor Who on YouTube, and it's like an official BBC channel. And as the name of the channel suggests, it has full episodes of classic Doctor Who.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's not like every episode. It's just like a few serials per season, basically. But one of the things they have is the 2019 full color animated version of this serial.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's what I ended up watching.
Nice. Yeah, these animated ones, that's pretty fun. That's nice that they...
Yeah.
I know I've said this before, but it's nice that they cared enough to like go back and do that to, help preserve, the history of it and give us some sense of like what it was like originally.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm really glad they're doing it. The animations are varying quality sometimes, but even having like a rushed animation of low quality is better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
And like they're still putting some care and thought and effort into it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, the YouTube channel it was, a few weeks ago that I wrote this, but it had several dozen serials, and it's like across the full range of Doctor Who, few serials per season or whatever. And kind of looking at the channel's history, it seems like they're adding a new serial like every week or so.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. Would you remind us of our Cliff Dinkler?
Yeah, so they got done with their capers on the moon and left in the TARDIS, and the Doctor was turning on like a new thing that he hadn't used before, like a time scanner machine, which looks into the future. And he turned it on, and they looked at the screen, and what they saw was crab claws.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so giant space crabs are possibly in their future, as they are in the future of every evolving species.
Right, exactly. It's like every vehicle on a long enough timeline will evolve into some type of train. And every animal on a long enough timeline will evolve into some type of crab.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We start this episode in a pretty futuristic looking indoor colony setting, basically. Lots of corridors and big gathering rooms and that sort of thing, as Doctor Who is wont to do in this era. This colony that we're seeing is pretty dim and empty. The doors are all closed. There's kind of a thumping noise in the background, and it wasn't really clear to me whether this thumping was diegetic or soundtrack. But a thumping is happening.
Okay.
And then this pretty scraggly dude who looks kind of like Ringo Starr rushes through a door into a large room. And in this room, a big screen on the wall lights up, and it's this other dude's face. And the scraggly dude gets kind of a concerned look on his face, and he runs away. And then we just kind of fade from this shot to basically the same angle of the same room, but now it's brightly lit and it's full of people. The colony's obviously pretty populated. There's this band playing some pretty bright and peppy, fairly generic synth music, while some drum majorettes are waving their batons around and shit.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
it's just kind of public performance type situation. But this all gets interrupted by the scraggly man from the start running into the room yelling. And he's, being followed by some people chasing him or whatever. We learn that his name is Medoc, and that he refused treatment in front of the guards. So the guards got dismissed, and then he ran away.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he basically just continues running, and, we kind of follow him. He's running through the countryside. He's hiding behind hills and in the grass and shit, as these guards and a sort of chief of police, chief of guards type dude are all trying to follow him. And as he's hiding, he sees the TARDIS materialize at the top of a nearby cliff. We cut up to the TARDIS as Jamie and Polly and Ben and the Doctor all exit. Jamie's got this big stick with him, which he says is to defend himself against the giant space crab that they saw on the time scanner. But the Doctor doesn't really think that a big stick is going to work.
Unless I'm very much mistaken, these creatures are so big, they're going to see us long before we see them.
Does it work that way?
Yeah, that didn't really make sense to me. It seems like if they're very big, that means that we would see them before they might see us.
Imagine noticing an ant.
Right.
That might not
it's
even
probably
happen.
already noticed you.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Okay, whatever, Doctor. That's weird.
Yeah. they see Medoc nearby. I guess, after Medoc saw the TARDIS materialize, he went to go check it out or whatever. So they see him nearby approaching, and I guess that they must think that he's sneaking up to attack them or something, because Ben and Jamie just like preemptively tackle him and like sit on him and start tying him up and shit.
That's pretty aggressive, guys.
No,
and then sorry to interrupt. One thing I've sort of been wondering is like, Medoc and the band and all this stuff, like do they look contemporary, like 1960s era? Do they look futuristic? Like, what's the vibe?
They're like the future of the 1960s.
Oh, yeah, okay. So future retro style.
Yeah, basically. They're all wearing like, similar outfits that are, kind of uniform-esque. Like rows of buttons and stuff.
Nice.
Medoc's got the shirt sleeves torn off of his.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty rad. And so as Ben and Jamie are like sitting on Medoc and tying him up, the guards that were chasing Medoc arrive, along with like the chief of police dude whose name is Ola. And Ola is basically like, thanks for catching this dude for us.
We've done our best for him, but he gets worse day by day.
He sends a guard back to the colony to tell the pilot of the colony about what happened. And he instructs the other guards to tie Medoc up tightly. Jamie starts asking the doctor about where they are. And the doctor's like,
well, according to my calculations, we're certainly in the future and on a planet very like the Earth. How do you know? I don't know, I'm guessing.
All right.
According to his calculations, right. He's guessing.
Source. Trust me, bro.
Ola starts leading everyone back to the colony as the doctor tells the guards not to tie Medoc up too tightly because it's bad for blood pressure and circulation.
Hello, Doctor's Watcher listeners. We are your servants. We do not need guns, but we do need your 5-star ratings and reviews. No more than 5 stars to be seen together at any one time. We are ready to teach these human beings the law of the Doctor's Watcher. Back to the show.
Back in the colony, there's some different music playing now. It's like kind of the choir that you would expect to hear in a 1960s TV commercial. And they're basically like singing thank you messages to the various different work shifts. Ola brings the doctor and his companions to the pilot, who thanks them again for catching Medoc. And the doctor's like,
it was nothing. Anyone would have done the same. Well, this is gay. Well, the music.
Hilarious.
The pilot basically explains that they regulate their day by music. I guess the music like tells them when the work shifts are up and what to do next and that sort of thing. And he suggests that they all head to the refreshing department. So they do, but Jamie is feeling pretty sus about it.
Yeah, like, is that a bathroom?
Oh, they're a weird sort of folk. I don't know that I understand them.
So in the refreshing department, the department head tells the pilot to call control. So he does, and a big screen lights up with a dude's face on it, just like in the episode intro. And we hear a voice welcoming the visitors, but it's important to note that the image of the dude's face on the screen doesn't move. Like, you know, it's just a static image, even as the voice is talking, or like, you know, the mouth's not moving and stuff.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's a little bit weird. Paulie's really into it, though.
We wish to welcome joyfully the visitors to our colony. We are very grateful to them. They have performed a valuable service. The colony is to make our guests happy and contented during their stay. Welcome again, friends. Now, back to work, everyone.
Well, that's great. I'm really going to enjoy myself.
So the pilot leaves, and the head of the refreshing department offer them all their choice of like steam baths, beauty treatments, massages, and whatever. The doctor gets pretty upset, though, when the dude suggests,
You, sir, of course, would like your clothes cleaned.
Like, dude, you're a little dirty. Let's get you a wash.
Yeah, the second doctor's kind of a bit of a slob.
Funny.
I guess there's this whole scene in the original that was actually cut from the animation where they all do get like some spa treatments.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm guessing, I don't really know, but I'm guessing that it was just like too complex to animate on what was probably a low budget and fast turnaround time.
Yeah, probably like a lot of rapid scene cuts and, you know, one massage table and then one, I don't know, upset doctor watching his clothes being washed, and then, you know, like people getting their fingernails clipped and whatnot.
Yeah, and then like, you know, I read a little bit about, you know, on a transcript of what the scene was and whatever, and I think he does get his clothes washed, but then somehow they get like re-rumpled or something.
Awesome.
So it's like kind of just he's back to his status quo.
Nice.
Paulie, though, actually does have a new like short hairstyle, and I guess in the original version of the episode she gets it during this scene, but in the animation she has it like from the start of the serial.
Interesting. Bit of a retcon.
Yeah, didn't want to like change her character model partway through the animation.
Yeah. Man, that really seems, I don't know. They're like, man, we don't want to draw two different versions of hair for our paper doll animation style. Like, geez, you guys were really rushed, I guess. Or not getting paid much.
Yeah, probably both.
Yeah, true.
Medoc is being taken through the colony by the guards, but one of Medoc's old friends, Questa, is there. You know, because he's just being taken like through public areas. Basically, Questa is just like out hanging out in the colony, and he starts talking to Medoc.
Medoc, what's happened to you? What's all this about you seeing things?
I don't see things. Question, you fool. There are things. Horrible things. There are creatures infesting this camp at night.
And then the voice of Control comes over the intercom and announces that the shift rest is over and everyone needs to get back to work to prepare for a reception for the strangers tonight. Questa's like, dude, Medoc, like, didn't you hear that announcement? There's going to be like this cool, fun party tonight. The announcement even said like, it's going to be fun for everyone and whatever. The colony's all like, ooh, fun for everyone. And Medoc's just like,
have fun while you can, before they crawl all over you.
That's whole kind of like schedule thing is very like Dwarf Fortressy or Rimworldy. I don't remember specifically for Dwarf Fortress, but like in Rimworld, you can kind of define, you know, like these are your work hours, and then there's a couple hours in the morning and a couple hours in the evening to do whatever, or you can like specify it for like meditation time or, you know, sort of refresh type time.
Yeah, I think you can do that in Dwarf Fortress. I don't remember for sure. I do remember, like, you know, designating certain areas as like the recreation areas, basically.
Right.
And then, like, you know, polishing up the walls and the floor in those areas and like putting in some nice statues for them to look at and shit like that.
So those damn moody dwarves wouldn't go into a tantrum spiral.
Ola takes Medoc away, and the doctor, you know, kind of gives them a few moments and then follows after them. But he can't follow them too far before he reaches a locked door. So he whips out his character sheet and shows the DM that he already previously had written lockpick in his inventory. And the DM, like, didn't say anything, so he's got a lockpick. Nice. And so he rolls, and the DM's like, well, yep, I guess you unlock the door. So, and he heads in, and it's basically like the jail area, essentially. And it takes him, you know, just a moment to find Medoc's cell. And the doctor asks Medoc about these things that he sees and asks him if they crawl slowly over the ground. And Medoc's like,
how do you know? I just wondered, that's all.
The doctor frees Medoc. You know, he like opens his cell door for him, and he tries telling him to like stick around, and you know, the doctor promises that he won't let anyone hurt Medoc, but Medoc's just like, fuck that, and runs off.
Yeah, I mean, how are we going to be surprised by that?
Yeah. When Ola discovers what happened, he's about to arrest the doctor for freeing a prisoner, but Polly objects and says that the doctor doesn't know their laws. And the doctor adds,
there's something else you're forgetting, gentlemen. I set free someone that we caught in the first place.
Yes, but so?
And the pilot of the colony is basically like, yeah, I guess so. And like, they stop trying to arrest the doctor.
Man, I need some phrases like this that people just accept and move on.
They do decide, though, that they should probably send the doctor and the companions to the labor center to start like learning more about the colony and stuff. So we cut over to the labor center, where there's an announcement on the loudspeaker from the controller about how Medoc escaped again, but they're definitely going to catch him soon. There's also an announcement about, like, you know, the work shifts changing or whatever, and a bunch of the colonists hearing this announcement start talking about how great it is to work for the colony. Jamie and the doctor are like, WTF, what do you actually like do here? And it turns out that they're miners who tap and refine gas. As they're explaining this, some alarms start going off, and some injured miners come into the area with reports of 2 people with gas sickness.
Did they have too many tacos?
Yeah, they're going to have to be put under quarantine. Have heavily ventilated quarantine. So they start dealing with all of that, but the work, like the actual mining work, must go on. Polly turns to make some comment to the doctor, but he's gone. During like this interruption and distraction, he snuck off to go talk to Medoc some more, who he saw like hiding in the colony on their way to the labor center. So the doctor, backtracks to where he saw Medoc, and he rolls a pretty decent persuasion check. So Medoc starts describing the things that he sees for the doctor.
All right. If you really want to know. It's hard to say. They move at night. In the dark. They look horrible. Creatures like giant insects.
With big claws?
Yes, that's it.
He says that everyone else who has seen them gets taken to the correction hospital, where he will also be taken as soon as they capture him again, and probably they will also take the doctor there because he helped Medoc. They both start hearing Ben and Jamie like calling for the doctor. So he rushes back to everyone else, basically so they don't find him with Medoc and thus learn where Medoc is hiding. So he gets back to the refreshing department, and the other companions are there. He gets back basically just in time to hear the announcement that curfew is about to start.
We're confined to rescue because at night by order of control. Anyone who wanders round the colony at night may be killed.
I mean, having seen the amount of science fiction that I have, and having been in the amount of science fiction that the Doctor has been in, it seems like he should recognize, a creepy totalitarian society hiding a deep, dark secret, like almost immediately.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it does kind of seem to be taking him longer than you might hope to pick up on things.
Right. Or, any of them, really. Like, come on, they're from Britain. Like, they fought creepy totalitarians, not that long ago before this whole show was produced. Like, they should have some sort of, like, sense of weird totalitarianism.
I guess he is the only one in the colony who actually seems interested by what Medoc is saying. Where everyone else is like, oh, he's just like hallucinating and crazy and shit. And the doctor's like, I don't know. I kind of want to hear about these weird giant insect things with giant claws.
Yeah. I mean, even just to hear about him sounds cool.
So they all, Ben and Jamie and Polly and the doctor all get shown to like sleep cubicles or whatever in the refreshing department where they're supposed to be confined for the night. But basically, as soon as the host walks away, the doctor is like up and out of bed and out of his cubicle and like into the main refreshing department, like public area. The controller, like static image appears on the big video screen and an announcement plays.
It is now dark. No one will go outside into the colony. A dangerous man is in hiding. Our patrols have orders to shoot on sight. Happy sleep time, everybody.
Weird. Okay. If you leave, you will get killed. Happy sleep time.
The doctor just like sarcastically replies,
Same to you.
So as he's sneaking out into the colony, Ola is leading guard patrols out into the colony because, they're all going to be searching for Medoc with orders to shoot to kill. The Doctor finds Medoc before any of the guards do. But then, the Doctor and Medoc hear the guards starting to approach. So the Doctor basically tells Medoc, to run away or whatever, and the Doctor will create a diversion. And at first, Medoc's like, dude, they're going to kill you. But the Doctor insists. And so Medoc's just like,
thanks.
And the Doctor, gives him the word to run for it. And then the two of them run off together. I guess the Doctor's not going to stay behind and create a diversion for him. But, they run off together and they head through a big door to the outside where they see a giant space crab crawling into the colony.
Uh-oh.
And with that, the words say Doctor Who Patrick Troughton.
Nice. So the colony's got crabs.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'd gotta get that under, taken care of.
Right, get that looked at.
Don't want to spread that to other colonies and shit.
Right. I mean, the worst thing to do is, look the other way and pretend it's not happening and not listen to the guy saying, "We've all got crabs."
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's just going to make the problem worse.
Well, that's an exciting start. As we know, the crabs are the pinnacle of evolution, so it's probably going to be pretty difficult to, get around this one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, especially giant space crabs, crabs just in general are already going to be pretty cool. But when they are both giant and space.
Right. That's like a superpowered crab-like being.
Mm-hmm.
I bet all the Earth crabs or whatever planet this might happen to be were like, oh shit, he's real. Start worship the space crabs.
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. If I still ate meat, I would like to kill a giant space crab and then steam its legs and eat them for weeks and weeks because crab is delicious. But I no longer eat meat, even if it's from weird, oversized sea insects.
Nice. Yeah, I'm actually not really a huge fan of the crab meat that I've had. I don't dislike it, but I know crab is really popular for some people, and I'm it's fine.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's not great, but if you get is it Alaskan king crab or Dungeness crab, those two are usually pretty tasty.
Nice. Yeah, I probably haven't ever had really good crab before, so.
Well, it'll be fun to see what kind of crab they get up to next episode.
Nice. Yeah, I did think it was kind of funny that the Cliff Dingler at the previous one was there are space crabs. And then it takes the whole episode before we're yep, there are space crabs.
Right. Remember the last Cliff Dingler? It's happening again. Well, do you have any further notes on this one?
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention on this one was that I had mentioned at the start that Medoc like sees the TARDIS materialize on the edge of a cliff. What I didn't mention is that like in the next shot, when the characters all exit the TARDIS, it is not on the edge of a cliff. It's kind of like in a cave-ish.
Oh, weird.
And yeah, apparently this was a continuity error in the original episode. That's like, you know, a clear error that you can still see like in the telesnaps. And I guess they decided to like preserve that continuity error in the animation.
That's fun. That's real dedication. Yeah, like another thing you didn't mention was like, you know, Medoc sees something that he probably doesn't know what it is materialize out of thin air and doesn't like lose his shit a little bit even or like even mention it.
Yeah, he just kind of like watches it.
Huh.
And yeah.
That's a different reaction than usual. Guess it wasn't in the script.
I guess he was like trying to hide from the guards, so
true.
Maybe he was reacting internally.
Right. He's not about to like start crying or whatever and like, well, I was going to say not about to start crying and doubting his sanity, but he's already like, you know, he's been past that. Like he's seen the things that everyone says aren't there. So it seems like he's moved past the doubting his sanity phase. He already knows like what he's seen.
Yeah, like he seems pretty sure of his own sanity in the face of everyone else doubting it.
Right. Well, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what these crabs get up to in 2 weeks.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, so thanks for listening all about the Doctor Who Space Crabs.
Yeah, thanks for telling me all about the crabs from Doctor Who Space. And thanks, listeners, for tuning in to hear about all this crab talking that we're doing.
Indeed. And if you want to talk some crab to us, you can do that on Blue Sky, or you can email us. You can also talk some crab about us to the rest of the world by leaving ratings and reviews about this podcast.
Yeah, like say if you're, you know, out at the store, like buying some crab, you know, the person weighing it out for you, you could be like, you seem like you're into crab. Like, I bet you would like this Doctor's Watcher podcast episode about crabs. Or, you know, if you work on like a crabbing boat in like Alaska or wherever else there's crabs, you know, you might want to tune in.
Totally. Yeah, just, you know, Bluetooth your phone to the boat's loudspeaker and start the episode playing.
Right, everyone's going to love it. It'll be a nice break from, you know, sea shanties or whatever they do.
Well, cool. Yeah, if you want to hear more about giant space crabs, then come back in 2 weeks.
Indeed. And we will see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
This is your controller speaking. There is no need for alarm. You may all continue your work and play, confident that the best is being done for you. But our unfortunate companion Medoc has been allowed to escape. Emergency patrols 2 and 3 are now searching the colony, and he is sure to be caught before it is dark. Now return to your work and play with fresh heart and renewed energy.
They got that bloke all over the place like a blinging politician.
He's our controller. We're always pleased to see him. He brings us encouragement.
Oh, he's not a politician then.
Number 9 shift to stand by. Leader to report to youth center.
Work shift ready to leave.
It's a nice retuned, Doctor. Yeah, if you happen to like work.
It's a privilege to work for the colony.